Operation Sanity is not about vendors. Our objective is not to remove vendors from any highway or street. That is not the goal here. KMC's stand on the vendors is very clear from the start. Gambia is a poor country. Many people need these petty businesses to survive. Parce que bés bu nga xam ne council bi mi ngi toog di waxtaan yëfi opération bi ñu dégg ay xibaar génn ci media bi ne KMC dafa door opération clean the road, KMC dafa daxane ñi ci mbéda bi mu nekk lu nga xam ne naxari nañu torop ba pare naxarul nañ ko. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the councillors, CEO, directors, managers, and of course our good friends in the media for coming here to join us in the official launch of Operation Sanity. Operation Sanity is an idea that is based on the Council's bylaws. As many know, in 2020, Council introduced the first ever Carnifing municipal bylaws. Bylaws are ordinances or rules that guide our community so we can live in harmony. These are laws that the Council will exercise fines on if contravened based on nuisances caused in our community. Now, since 2020, we've been trying to enforce through our municipal police and anti-littering units. However, the enforcement has been sporadic, it has been slow, and it has not been comprehensive. Given these drawbacks, I sat with some of the municipal police officers and the municipal police command, our chief executive officer, and of course our anti-littering unit, and came up with the name Operation Sanity to ensure that we can comprehensively enforce these bylaws. But it's not just about enforcement, it's also about sensitization. Because rather than punishing people, we would like people to comply. Because complying with these bylaws is for the betterment of our community so that we can live in harmony without causing a nuisance towards our neighbor. Now, this operation is aimed to sanitize the entire municipality by enforcing the anti-littering laws through the existing local government bylaws of councils assented by my office on 9 June 2020 for the Carnifing municipality. Sections 4, 7, 8, and 9 of the bylaws mandates us to exercise the powers conferred on me under Section 54 on the Local Government Act. The above section deals with nuisance, including removal of sand and gravel that blocks our feeder roads, private sewage pipes, and disposal of waste products and hazardous substances from households to our neighborhood and communities. It also covers the sporadic burning of waste within the community, and of course, loud music after certain hours in the wee hours of the night without a permit. The operation will look into the areas highlighted below. Number 1, clean and clear waste on all major highways and streets, otherwise known as a setsetal. Levy charges and collect refuse generated by occupants along the highways and streets. Remove or attempt to remove all derelict vehicles and any other machinery that obstruct the highways and streets. Levy charges on any derelict vehicle towed before collection by the owners. Remove and levy charges on sand and gravel owners that obstruct highways, the communities, and the streets. Levy fines on any property found to connect sewage pipes to public drains, street gutters, or simply pouring it out on the roads. To charge or fine anyone found burning any form of substance that is hazardous to humans or pose health repercussions. Control and charge any stray animal owner whose herd is found grazing in the streets, highways, squares, avenues, or public spaces. These are the specific areas that the operation will cover. We have set up a municipal task force that will be led by the municipal police, and of course working with government agencies and sister agencies including the NEA, the Gambia Police Force, and other agencies that complement our actions. Procuring materials and equipment that we will need to ensure the swift and smooth operation of this exercise. Conduct public awareness to ensure that our communities, households, residents are well informed about the exercise before it starts. We would prefer that they remove these nuisances before our teams reach that community. Also, as we operate within the community, we will be bringing back Setsetal. However, this time it will be different. Instead of having a municipal-wide Setsetal, we will be focusing our Setsetals constituency by constituency, meaning after the operation, sanity members and the task force go through our community to ensure nuisances are removed. We will follow with a council Setsetal in partnership with our WDCs led by the councillors, and we encourage all community members to participate to ensure our communities are clean. I would like to also clarify and make it extremely clear. Operation Sanity is by no means or has no similarity to Operation Clear the Roads led by the Gambia Police Force and the central government. Operation Sanity is not about vendors. Our objective is not to remove vendors from any highway or street. That is not the goal here. KMC's stand on the vendors is very clear from the start. Gambia is a poor country. Many people need these petty businesses to survive. We urge government to support council's application to get our municipal lands so we can develop more markets and find a place for these vendors. So therefore, we are not clearing any vendors on the road because we sympathize with their cause. However, any vendor that is seated on the highway has an obligation to make sure the environment is clean, has an obligation to make sure when they produce garbage, they collect it and put it in the rightful place by the end of the day, has an obligation not to burn any materials in the highway or to throw their waste in the gutters. So if any vendor is in contravention with the bylaw, we will enforce. Make no mistake of that. This operation, we hope, will change behaviors. Our intention is not to punish anybody. Our intention is not to inconvenience anybody. Our intention is to bring order and sanity. Because 99% of residents in our municipality are suffering from these nuisances caused by very few individuals. We thank everybody for their cooperation and partnership, especially the media, who is always here to ensure people know what council is about and what council is trying to achieve. And of course, our wonderful staff are always ready to support our policy decisions and take our lead when we want to make our municipality better. Now I tuuti rek ci olof si local language bi pour ñeneen ñi understand. Maa ngi gërëm ñëpp di sant ñëpp di welcome ñëpp fii tey di dooree nuyu bi councillors, CEO, directors, administrators, di nuyu tam media bi ñu nga xam ne saa yu ñu leen soxree rek dañoo teew pour tasaare xibaar bi ak wax askan bi KMC si lu mu nekk. Tey lu ñu indi fii mooy dañu am loi yuñ tegoon 2020 mai loi bu nga xam ne council bi moo ko indi ñu ko ooyee bylaw ñun nguur bu ndaw lañ kon dañ dee am loi yu nga xam ne mun nañu wax ne tam loi yu ndaw lañ loi yu nga xam ne ñooy jàppale askan bi pour ñu dëkk si jaama bañ a xatalante ci suñ dëkkuwaay yi ak si suñ koñ yi. kon KMC yaaga naa am loi yi wante gis nañ ne ñu bari nekkuñ di ko topp complaint yu dee ñëw suma office si ñu nga xam ne ñi ngay génnee seen sokowe yi di ko connect si mbedda yi si ñu nga xam ne ñi ngay lakka si biir community bi lakka ay mbalit lakka ay guy ak yeneen di sonal askan bi si ñu nga xam ne tam ñi ngay tabax teg seen béton yi ak seen suuf yi di bloqué yoon yi si ñu nga xam ne tam ñi ngi am ay moto yu màgget ak ay taaya di ko jam si diggi koñ yi secrètement mécanique yu nga xam ne génne nañ ci kër yuñ nekka bàyyi seen moto yi si mbedda bi di xatal koñ yi. Loi yu ñoo ooyee bylaw ñoo war a ñëw pour make sure ne police municipal police yi kuñ jàppa ñuy yaaxa loi yi pour ñu make sure ñu fine leen fine bi mooy lan $1,000. naaw gis nañ ne depuis loi yi am ñu bari nekkuñ di ko toppa kon ñun dañu am xalaat bu ndaw mooy ne dañoo def opération bu nga xam ne dafa askan bi dafa jàngal askan bi wante tamit kuñ jàppa muy yaaxa luwaa yi nañ la won luwaa bi lu mu wax ak ñaata nga war a fay pour bul ko defaat kon opération bi na laal area yu bari wante dafa ànd tam ak set setal nu ñoo duggee ci koñ yi pour enforce bylaw bi pour jubal nit ñi naka lañ war a dëkkoo dañoo also setal mbërëb bi kon set setal bi dañu bugga askan bi suñ kansulo yi ak ñu dëkk si biir koñ yi ñu jàppal loxo municipalité bi ñu setal koñ yi kon bylaws yi tamit ak opération bi amul dara pour def ak jaaykat ñu nekk ci mbedda bi opération bi sonalut benn jaaykat toroxalut benn jaaykat génnewut benn jaaykat fooy toog parce que xam nañ ne Gambie ñu niw doole dañu bari ñuy jaay si mbedda bi ñu si uppa dañoo faraatu pour yóbbul seen njaboot yi moo tax yàgg nañoo wax nguur gi nañ ñu dimbalee ci suñ title deed pour KMC mun a jot suñ laan yi mun a yaatal marché yokka marché yi dangaa gis nit ñi am fu ñu dem jaay wante taxut nag ne jaaykat bu nekk ci mbedda bi di ut di yóbbu sa kër warloo tilimal mbirëb booy jaay warloo tam toog foo nekk di laka di sonal askan bi warloo jël sa mbalit tam nga dem dugal ko ci pax yi soo wàccee war ngaa jël bidong booy toog nga yóbbu ko sa kër wante warloo ko bàyyi si diggi mbedda bi warloo jël xeer yi tam nga indi ko ci diggi tali bi nga bàyyi ko foofu nga dem sa yoon lii yëpp tam si yaaxa bàyyi loo la bokk kuñ jàppa ngay def activité yooyu yaa ngee jaayuloo ñun dañoo enforce loolu laa bëggoon a leeral léegi media house yu nga xam ne tam reportoon nañ génnee nañ lu nga xam ne amut ñu ngi leen di ñaan KMC dafa am official channel PR office mooy official channel pour media bi ku am lajte ku am xalaat ku am loo bëgg a xam si biir KMC suñ buntay ubbeeku nañ wante di rightful channel mooy nga ñëw PR office nga lajte bem leer parce que bés bu nga xam ne council bi mi ngee toog di waxtaan yëfi opération bi ñu dégg ay xibaar génn si media bi ne KMC dafa door opération clean the road KMC dafa daaxa nit ñi si mbedda bi mu nekk lu nga xam ne naxari nañu torop ba pare naxarul nañ ko lu ñoo ñaan media bi ñun am nañ responsibility bu nga xam ne partner lañ luñ bugga rek mooy jëm kanami gox ki kon da ngeen war a peeseen ngeen xaar ba xibaar bi jógee indi rightful channel am na tam newspaper bu bind ne opération bi dañ ko cancel si next day bi xibaar boobu fu ñu ko jëlee ñun tam xamuñ kon lu ñoo ñaan nañ ñu jàppale si liggéey buñ nekka ñun luñ bugga rek mooy suñ municipalité bi am order kon lii caution la rek pour wax ne mayor ak suñ council ak suñ administration dañu gis ne media bi foundation bu nga xam ne la foundation bu am solo la si réew mi partner ñu nga xam ne la partner ñu bugg a liggéeyal la si réew mi ba pare fonk nañ leen kon ñi ngay gërëm ñëpp ñi ngay sant ñëpp di leen waa jërëjëf kon ku am laajte anybody who has a question I am available for any clarity. The municipal police commander is here, the CEO is here, the councillors are here. Any question you have about this operation, you are free to ask. Also, we encourage everybody to get a copy of the council bylaws from the clerk of council, Usman Gay, in case that you will need it to make sure that the population is aware. Also, whoever needs the summary of the operation sanity document, you can get it from Musa Mane, who's the anti-littering unit manager. Thank you very much. Going around the community to actually sensitize people in the local languages that these are the things that we are about to do on certain dates, so that people who are already breaking the bylaws have a room and time to correct their mistake. Our main goal here is about sensitization more than punishment. But then if we give you enough time to fix this problem and you don't comply, then of course the punishment will follow. The second question is, if somebody has a report while the team has already gone past your constituency, how do you report it? Council has structures. We have a WDC office in every ward. We're the only council who has set this unprecedented establishment. In every ward you go to KMC, all 19 of them, there's a WDC office, which is a ward development committee office with a sitting secretary. Secondly, of course, the mayor's office is here. You're always welcome to come report to the mayor's office. We have a town hall, which we believe is the town hall of the people. Then the municipal police office is also behind. You can also go and report this to the municipal police. You can also go to the nearest police station and say you have a nuisance you want to report, and that message can be extended to KMC. But more importantly, we have introduced a free hotline, I think last year or year before last, 1244. When you dial 1244, there is a free hotline where you can call directly our customer care center or our complaints division, and you can lay out your complaint. But I think there's many avenues that have been provided by the council to make sure these things are corrected, starting with the community office at the WDC level. Does that answer?
Yes.
The laws are vendors should not be on the street, but that is not the council's mandate to implement. We already have mobile police who are in charge of all the highways. But more importantly, we have to look at the realistic situation of the Gambia. Gambia is one of the poorest places in the world, one of the poorest places in Africa. Most of our population is not gainfully employed, and they don't have formal employment in offices like many have the luxury of. They go on the streets on a day-by-day basis on capital that they borrowed, that were capital that was gifted to them by family members, maybe capital they grew through very hard circumstances over time, just so they can bring enough money to their houses to feed their children, to make sure that their children go to school, to pay their rent, etc. Now, knowing these circumstances in Gambia, we have to be very careful about operations we do bring into force, because we may be causing more harm to our population than our gains. Now, and most of these people sitting on the streets are grassroots. They are the underprivileged people who are just trying to make a living. They are not stealing. They are not doing vices such as drug dealing and prostitution. All they are doing is doing petty trade. So it is an obligation of the government and the council to work hand in glove to ensure that there are suitable areas where these people can sell. We cannot give them jobs. We are not bringing factories to the country that is giving them work. So we must give them an area they can sell. It would be very wrong and immoral to kick them out of the street and not have a place for them to go. That's why 2 years ago, I said on media, KMC has identified 7 areas that we own. All we want is for government to give us our title. If we have our title, we have the partnerships to bring new markets and market infrastructure. So when you tell somebody, get off the street, you can tell them, you can go into that shop. So that's why we were appealing that give us the title to these lands. So we are again making a recall on government to make sure these title deeds are available. However, if a person selling on the street is doing so, they must do in an orderly fashion. They must make sure their environment is clean. They must make sure they are not creating a nuisance to the public, meaning anything that contravenes our bylaws, whether you are selling on the street or not, we will enforce. Have been in place since 2020. We have been enforcing them, just not in a comprehensive manner, meaning our municipal police on a day-to-day basis are fining individuals for contravening these laws. However, we have seen that it is not very effective because the results are not being seen on the streets, like you likely said. Earlier this year, we tried to partner with the NEA, National Environmental Agency, and the Gambia Police Force to make sure we have a structure on the ground where police officers, when they catch offenders, will find them at the police station. But there was a problem being that police officers said they cannot collect money from the public. So the partnership we were trying to create was KMC cashiers will be deployed at every police station to ensure that when offenders are caught, they will go to the KMC cashier and pay. Now that MOU, maybe you've heard me publicly complain about it, was stalled at some point. Not in our control, but in the sister agencies we were trying to partner with. Sometimes we suspect that politics gets in the way. That's why what we always emphasize is this is about the country, let's try and partner and work together. Now, given that our sporadic fines are not effective, given that we cannot have that collaboration with government as we would like, we have come up with this solution as another method to ensure that we reduce the problem. It can never be eliminated 100%, but what we are really trying to achieve is a change in behavior. Because if majority of the citizens comply, I think we'll see a physical change on the street. So it's an exercise in a way where if it works, we will ensure that we do it annually to keep order and control within the municipality. But I also assume if you are punished for littering, or you're punished for burning materials, or you're punished for taking your sock away and putting it out in the street, I assume you will make steps to fix that so it won't happen again. And that's the change in behavior. Now, our bylaws, as you asked, has a flat fine. Our bylaw fine is $1,000 every offender, every time. So if I come in the morning as a municipal police officer and you make an offense, I fine you $1,000. I come back next day, the same offense is there, I will charge you again $1,000 until that offense is removed. Now, government has more powerful tools, such as the NEMA Act and the anti-littering laws that have larger fines. And that's why partnership with them will be critical in the long term and for sustainability, meaning that some people, maybe they can pay $4,000 easily, but with $30,000, $50,000, with some of the fines government can levy, that would guarantee a permanent and irreversible change in behavior of our community in the long run. But we don't only want to stop at just finding people, we also want to clean the environment, and that's why we are complementing it with a set setup. So I hope that answers your question. Officially kick off on the 27th January 2025. That is when it will officially kick off. The sensitization, I believe, should start by Monday. Am I correct? Yes. The sensitization will start by Monday. So basically, we are giving members of the community about 8 days to comply. We would love to just walk through the community and not have to find anybody. Make sure that people who are doing these obstructions, remove it. Make sure that people who are connecting their sockaway in the streets, remove it. Make sure people who are burning materials in the open, stop it. So we would love to just walk through the communities and not have to find anybody. That's why we're giving enough time for people to comply. So we're going to make an intensive media campaign, and all of you are here, most of you are here. We hope that you support us to make sure the message is out there. So we will give you a copy of the council bylaws. We will give you the copy of our schedule so that the community can be ready, so we can have a smooth operation where it's a win-win situation, a win for the community, a win for the council. But we assume if somebody refuses to pay, then we will hand you to the right authority, and that's the Gambia Police Force. But like I said, we don't want it to get to that. Why will you know that this is a law you are infringing on, and you're an activity that is being a nuisance to your neighbor and your community? You insist on that activity until the council comes to your doorstep to fine you, and then you insist that you will not pay the fine until you find yourself in the hands of the police. I think any reasonable, well-meaning citizen will not allow that to happen. So these nuisances, remember, these are not nuisances that is just affecting the mayor, or these affecting your neighbors, your neighborhood. I know all of you have been through our communities. In many of the areas, you see people connecting their sockaway. I'm sure yourself, as a passerby, you're upset. Now imagine the person living right next door, the order, the mess, and just knowing that this is, human excrement that is on the street. So I think a reasonable person should comply before the municipal police get to your doorstep. Contravene laws, and our municipal police go to enforce. These are daily issues that happen anyway. And of course, there's sometimes push and pull, but the person who breaks the law always loses, guaranteed. So the municipal police have handed many people to the Gambia Police Force to enforce, but usually once they get to the police force, they comply. So 99% of the cases never get to that level. But then again, I ask myself, why would any well-meaning citizen, reasonable person, contravene any of these bylaws and insist that they want to contravene them? You are breaking the law, one. You are disturbing your community, two. You are giving a nightmare to your neighbors. So nobody should want to give your neighbors a tough time. And remember, 90% of the cases reported today are reported by neighbors. Sometimes they tell their neighbor to stop it for a long time and they refuse. And when they lose all hope, that's when they come to the council. But I think if you're a good neighbor, good neighborliness means that you should not do to your neighbor what you wouldn't want to be done to yourself. So these laws, remember, They are not major laws. These are just nuisances to create order within our municipality. But now we know they're really getting out of hand because we are getting reports from our WDCs, our councillors, we get reports from our citizens, we get reports from journalists. Every day we are receiving tons and tons of complaints about individuals who are giving a hard time to their neighbors. And we have bylaws in place. So that's why we are investing in this operation to try and create order once and for all. And we hope it will work, and we think it will work with everybody's support. And the major stakeholder is community members and the offenders. Let us make sure we live in a clean and nice environment. We talk about development every day. Every radio station, every VU, every breakfast table. What do we talk about? We want our country to develop. We want our country to be orderly. We want to live in a high standard country. Nobody wants to go back way. You know, we wish we had a country of a high standard. So it starts with yourself. So this bylaw, this enforcement is just reminding citizens that the change starts with you. So before talking about the streets of Milan or the streets of Belgium, why not make sure your street is clean? Development and cleanliness have nothing to do with one another, really. You don't need infrastructure to be clean. So we are speaking to a basic human value. All we want people to do is to live in a clean environment. I would love for the municipal police to go out and come back and not find a single individual and tell us, Mayor, we went out and everybody complied. Our environment is in a good state.
So please, we are taking...
The highway is an infrastructure problem. We've tried many times to clean it, and as soon as we clean it, it makes it back. I guess similar to waste, to litter. Although litter can be sort of helped or fixed because it's a human activity, the sand on the highway is an infrastructure problem, meaning it is cars coming from unbuilt and unpaved roads who carry the sand on their tires to the highway. Look at the new Battle Harding. You don't see many areas of sand deposits because there's not many areas cars can join because it's a sealed off highway. But any road you build, if you don't build the connecting roads, well, you cannot help it. After every rainy season, in the dry season, your highway will be full of sand because at first it's mud and then it dries and turns to sand. We try to clean as much as possible. Sometimes we see NRA cleaning as well, but it cannot be fixed permanently until the entire Gambia is paved. And this is why we have our road network project, right? So we are doing our part. Government should do our part to ensure the entire country is paved as you know, developed countries are. Fine moom fine la ñun bu ñoo defar fine bi bàyyi nañ xel ne municipalité bi ñu si ëppa ñu néew doole lañ wante ñun utuñ xaalis si nit ñi utuñ xaalis si loxo nit ñi moo tax ma ne la NEA soo xoolee seen fine yi toll na 30,000 50,000 mun naa ëppal loolu sax dafa des yaaxa boo def nu mu toll wante ñun KMC lu ñu wax mooy ne ñun utuñ xaalis si askan bi luñ bugg rek mooy punishment xam nga loi soo ko yaaxee foog mu am punishment bi mooy lan $1,000 ku la wax loolu di nga xam ne KMC nekkuñ di ut xaalis si loxo askan bi ñun luñ bugg rek mooy compliance bugguñ ñu àgga si yëfi $1,000 yi 3 months in prison yooyu yëpp amuñ ci intérêt ñun luñ am intérêt mooy na mbërëb bi set na ku nekk ak sa kër nga meeg soo nekkuloo di gëtën sa askan bi si yu nga xam ne jaaduwut kon waruñoo àgga si yëfi $1,000 moo tax ñuy def sensitization wante nag ku bañ ku sës nga ne yow doo ko def fii la luwaa di ñëw moo tax luwaa am suñu waree yokka si waxtaan bi tam mooy yow nga xam ne da nga ñàkk amuloo njëgi $1,000 kon bul yaaxa luwaa toppa luwaa rek loolu moo gën a yomba naa la riidal benn section fii mooy nuisance si anglais nuisance means an act not authorized by law or omission to discharge a legal duty so loolu mooy lan mooy nga def lu nga xam ne àndut ak luwaa wala nga bañ a def lu ànd ak luwaa comme tey yaa ngi am ay toilette ñëpp am nañ toilette seen kër nga am sokowi su feesee lu war mooy nga oo dadi kama mu ñëw mucc ko mu dem wante waruloo bàyyi mu fees ba di tuuru si mbedda bi kon luy njëriñu sokowee bi kon moo gën bul am sokowee sax ngay tuur affaire yi si mbedda bi rek soo gisee ñu def sokowee si kër mooy pour nga stoo ko dadi kama bi ñëw yóbbu ko kenn du ko yëg xëy na xet bi moom duñ ko mun a bañ wante kenn du yëg ne mucc nañ tey sa sokow yi so lu gën a am solo mooy pour nit ñi ñu toppal loi bi ñaareel bi mi ne and thereby causes any common injury or danger or annoyance or obstructs or causes inconvenience to the public in exercise of common rights mooy ne dëgg la am na benn laajte bu fi ñëw suñ constitutional right nit ku nekk am nga human right pour am sa jàmm am nga human right pour dëkk ca kër wante tam sa human right boobu waruloo ko jiital waruloo ko yóbbu fu nga xam ne na sonal sa dëkkandoor human right tam dafa am fu mu em nekkut ne am nañ démocratie am nañ right lu neex waaye daf koo def lu mu xalaat daf koo def wante su sonalee askan bi sonal sa ay dëkkandoor sonal sa community sa human right foofu la em kon lii loolu la moo leeral mooy nuisance mooy nga def lu nga xam ne si sa jaama nga def lu nga xam ne mi ngeen sonal sa dëkkandoor mooy nga bloqué tali bi building material sa dëkkandoor ñëw ak taxeem bugg a wàcca këram munta àgga ci këram mu am pour wàcca taxi bi dox ay 100 mètres fekk fay na taxi bi ba pare wala mu ñëw ak motoom munta jaala koñ bi mu am pour wóor pour mun a ñëw si këram an lii lu si gën a garaaw mooy safara su amee foofu fire service war a ñëw du am fu mu jaar xew daf dee xew wala léegi-léegi ñun Serekunda market sax bu yàggut xew na dafa am ku nga xam ne mi ngi tabax si boori ñun suñ sokawee bi si marché bi léegi ñun suñ moto bi mënut a accès sokawee bi pour muccu sokawee bi lu xew mu overflow tuuru si mbedda bi ngir lan kooku dafa teg building material yi si diggi yoon bi so est-ce que loolu jaadu na I don't think so moo tax luwaay yi nekk in place pour def loolu léegi tey si suba CEO ak man ak ay directeur ñu noo waxtaan ak municipal police bi sa ñaareeli laajte bi mooy ne ñun dañu nekk service mooy lan dañu nekk di liggéey ak askan bi koy liggéeyal nag foog nga lan number one nga respect ko parce que moom moo laa fay tey looy yóbbu sa kër ñoom ñooy taxpayer ñooy suñ boos so munuñ leen a fekk si mbedd bi jaay leen route disrespect leen suñ police yi luñ leen wax always be professional gis nañ ay dëkk fii ñu nga xam ne seen police yi ñoo ñu ëpp xaalis ñoo ñu ëpp doole dañ dee am fetel wante ba léegi seen jëflanteel ak community yar ak teggin lañ dee jiital tey si suba rek ma ngi koo wax ma ne ko police sooy dil ak protesta bi jam la xeer yow tam nga jël xeer bi nga jam ko loolu doy na waar ba pare man gis naa loolu fii biir Gambie ak suma but police dafa war a professionnel nit ki nu mu mun di ñëwee lum la mun di wax yow soo déggee professionnalisme yow yaa war a ànd ak sa sago nga xam sa liggéey nga xam ne ñii citizen nañ nga treat leen with respect mun ngaa arrest nit sax ak respect mun ngaa fay nit sax ak respect wante yow yaa war a muñ ñoom ñu tidda sa ko ñoom ñu dox sa ko kon seeni mun ngaa yokk foofu.
To serve people to protect them so mun ngaa def sa liggéey bi nga am li nga bugga fekka xamloo di culprit or di ku yaaxaluwa so léegi ñun we will train our people. It's very important how to approach people so loolu is already in place. Inshallah the operation will go smoothly although it will go with challenges. As you likely say, democracy goes with challenges and it also goes with rule of law. So at the end of the day, we will try and train our people how to approach people and make sure we execute our orders in a rightful way. Of course, they already, that is part of the program guide. As one of the people asked here about the enforcement of the bylaw, we were enforcing the bylaw, but sensitization was lacking. So this time we will have a 10-day caravan tour to the community. Also, 3 local radios were identified to be transmitted in Mandinka, Wolof, and in English. So 10 days caravan tour will mount length and breadth of the municipality. We will go to all the wards to tell them what we intend to do and how we intend to do it. At least, I think 10 days is a grace period. If anybody want to comply during that 10 days, you can make sure if you have found one thing, you arrange yourself or you put your house in order before we reach there. But sensitization is part of the operation. So the caravan tour will start on Monday, inshallah, to all the 19 wards of the municipality. During the tour, the bylaw also will be interpreted in both Mandinka and Wolof. So
Mr. Jane, in 2020 and 2021, Community Service Unit and in collaboration with Community Development have conducted a vigorous community sensitization in all the public places, including public markets, more especially Serekunda Market, Latrikunda, Bakau, everywhere, in local languages, both in Mandinka and in Wolof, from page 1 to the last page of the bylaw. So we have done that, although there was this grace period that the sensitization did not continue, but we did it for almost 2 months, community sensitization in local languages, for people to understand what the bylaws are. So I believe that even most of the vendors at Serekunda Market, we have the posters, we have some of the videos with us. You can see the community sensitization. Even we use the caravan, the pickup, and the PA system, where some of the community service staffs were on this PA system and the pickup going around the whole municipality, 19 wards, to sensitize people on local languages about the bylaw and the penalties associated to the bylaw. But like he said, we are going to continue. Some of the radio stations, we will be engaging them. We will conduct a sensitization on bylaws so that people understand it very well. Like Mayor said, before we reach there, most of the people, of course, will remove some of those drill vehicles and some of the areas that are very dirty. I believe that they will remove it before we get there. So this is a collective responsibility. It's not only council, the journalists, the community, everybody has a stake in this to ensure that our municipality is clean as enshrined in our vision of the municipality. Thank you.